So, Spokane got up to 106 degrees. 106 degrees. This is my son's room. That's a south-facing window. And it was 106 outside in this room. The south-facing window was a nice, cool, I think 84. Anyway, two-story house. This is the second floor, the hottest room of the house, and I kept it cool with this thing, which is what I call a reservation swamp cooler. And what it's got is a battery-operated camping fan that I got plugged in using a universal adapter. But if the power goes out or whatever, you can use batteries. It won't be as efficient, and you'll hear some gurgling in the back, gurgling. And this is a piece of wood that used to be right there on the shelf that Taylor broke trying to climb the shelf. And this is a toy bin from Margaret's job at Express when they were getting rid of stuff at the end of the year. So anyway, inside here I got to replace that, so it'll be a good example. But this is a 2.5 gallon jug of water that I froze solid. And there's a fountain pump and some water, and then a cardboard baffle right there. So the air, when this is closed, goes down past the splashing water and it comes out here. And I'm going to go get some more ice. So this is, like I said, I call this a reservation swamp cooler, and I learned how to build these things when I was a kid on the Umatilla Indian Reservation. Oop. And I like it as a permaculture piece of technology because it demonstrates alternative forms of thermal mass in the form of ice, where these are the method, this is the form of thermal mass that I'm using instead of ice cubes or anything. And so anyway, like I said, I learned to build these as a kid, and they do all sorts of various ways. The first one that I saw was a box fan that was connected to dryer hose. Yeah, the original the original reservation swamp cooler that I saw when I was a kid was a box fan connected to two dryer hoses that were put through a cooler that the guy had stuck ice cube trays full of ice loaded up in the cooler. But what he did was, all winter long, he'd set out ice cube trays and freeze the water and put them in a deep chest freezer. And he had these two deep chest freezers in this shed that was all surrounded by hay bales on the outside, so that it was like nice and cool. And he didn't use a whole lot of power for the deep chest freezers. And he would use that ice in this styrofoam, the old school 1970s styrofoam beer coolers, right? And he had 2 pieces of dryer hose that went through it, and a box fan on one side, and he packed that thing up full of ice, and that was how he beat the heat in his trailer. Called it the Reservation Swamp Cooler. And so this is a same type of thing, only this is like a 2018 Reservation Swamp Cooler. And so I'm using ice in 2-liter bottles as ice batteries, and I got a small fountain pump in there agitating the water and making it splash and humidifying the water like a natural stream or water system would. Battery operated fan, and there you go, keeping it cool. This thing cooled our 2-story house, the office that's downstairs directly below the hottest room, which is the bedroom upstairs above the office. It also was 84 degrees, and the rest of the house was, well, on the hottest day when it was 109 outside, the inside of the house at 5 o'clock in the afternoon peaked out at 84 degrees, and the cool part of the house in 86 degrees in the warm part of the house. So this thing kept the house at best 20 degrees cooler, but on average 22 to 24 degrees cooler. No air conditioning, no other means of cooling the house, just this thing, and moving the air around. So anyway, Reservation Swamp Cooler. Give it up to all the Indians on the Umatilla Res who showed me how to build these things when I was a kid.